Hey everyone, welcome to another tutorial by yours truly, Devin's Dog Days. Today I am working with Sweet Boy Jude, the Sealyham Terrier, and I'll be grooming him in a pet clip. If you're interested in helpful tutorials, tips, and tricks, be sure to subscribe to know what we share next. To get started, I'm using my Artero Reaktor 4-in-1 clipper set to a 30 blade to clip the pads clean of hair. I had already used the same clipper set to a 10 to clip his sanitary areas as well. Getting the pads of the feet clear of hair not only helps them get better traction for walking, but also helps keep less yard debris from getting brought inside the house. Next, I set my Reaktor to a 10 and clip the outside of the ears. I do this as part of my pre-bath prep to cut down on drying time. Then on the inside of the ear, I'm using a 30. You can also use a 10 or a 15 on dogs that are more sensitive, but Jude is on a regular grooming schedule and has no sensitivity, so I go short to keep him clean in between grooms. Next up, I grab my Artero HIIT Cordless Clipper, and using an Artero 7 finish cut blade, I clip his flat work areas and his rear. If you have trimmed a clean face on a poodle, the lines are similar on the planes of the cheek and the neck. Starting from the inner upper corner of the ear, I clip a straight line just to about 1/4 of an inch behind the eye. Next, starting from the inner lower corner of the ear, I clip at an angle toward 2 fingers above the breastbone. Once I have those lines set, I clip the neck and cheeks tight and flat, skimming off the cheeks right before the muzzle. On the lower jaw, I clip to the corner of the mouth and then shaving the lower jaw up to behind the canine flew, leaving the goatee. I like to go back in with my 10 blade in the flew area, as this is a tight space where food and moisture like to build and cause staining, serving both a sanitary and aesthetic purpose. Next up, dremeling those nails nice and tight to keep their feet comfortable and prevent scratching at home. Keeping nails short is integral to pet health, as overgrown nails can cause deformation to the paws and can grow into the pads of the feet in the worst case scenario. Encourage your pet parents to walk their dogs on pavement when they can to help keep their nails short, and help receive the quick to get shorter nails when they visit, or to visit for a simple nail trim in between if that's not an option. Next up is ear plucking. It's incredibly important, especially for dogs like Jude here who grow very thick hair in their ear canals, which can prevent airflow from within the ear canal. Using my Artero Auriclean Ear Powder and hemostats, I carefully remove the hair buildup from the ear canal, being mindful not to grab too much hair at once, which can be painful, as opposed to loosening and pulling gently bit by bit. Always follow up ear plucking with a good ear cleaner. I have used Artero Aurigel Ear Cleaner for over 10 years, and it is my most trusted product. Easy to use, you pump the tea tree oil-based gel into the canal where it quickly breaks down any dirt, debris, and acts as a disinfectant and antifungal cleanser. Then wipe away the excess with a cotton ball or pad and you're good to go. Now on to the first part of our strip and clip service, raking the coat. I start by using my double-sided Artero King Double Supercoat rake to start removing the bulk of Jude's dense undercoat. Even though Jude is clippered, raking and carding help maintain a really good amount of texture in his coat, as well as still removing dead undercoat from the skin by the root, making room for new healthy coat to grow in. In my 15 years of grooming, I have seen this help extend the overall skin and coat quality for the lifespan of many of my clients, significantly reducing the development of bumps and growths which can develop from leaving dead coat in the skin in these hand strip breeds. After the rake is no longer removing coat, I switch to a finer tool, my carding knife, the Artero Juno stripping knife, number 11 in the set. With its wide teeth and ergonomic design, it is perfect and comfortable for helping reduce the bulk of undercoat, which also helps the coat lay flat and tight to the skin as it's meant to do, in order to create a protective barrier from environmental elements. Now onto the bath. For our stinky boy Jude, who loves to get extra dirty, I'm using Artero Tsunami shampoo, which is a deodorizing and deep cleansing shampoo diluted at a 16:1 ratio. I've recently decided to go back to my originally learned method of dilution using a sponge and diluting bucket. I just find it to be easier to sanitize and waste even less product than other methods I've used in the past. Anywho, to make sure I get a really good scrub, I use the Artero Red Rubber Grooming Pad to make sure I get this boy scrubbed and cleaned thoroughly. I also find that this helps massage and loosen even more dead coat while in the tub as well. Then to make sure we get those pesky eye boogies, I use my Artero Buddy Mini Face and Eye Comb. Next up, I check the booty gland to make sure that they are not too thick for the dog to express on their own, or that they aren't green or yellow in color, which could indicate an infection. And then we rinse. For the first rinse, I am getting most of the shampoo out, but I don't worry about getting every bit since we'll be doing a second shampoo right after. For the second scrub, I'm using a mix of Artero Vitalizante for texture and volume, mixed with Artero Blanc for color enhancement and shine. Now for the second rinse, I make sure to rinse until there are absolutely no suds coming from the dog, that the water is completely clear. I triple check by squeezing water down the legs into my hand to check for soap, as well as between the front and back legs and the face. Soap residue left in the coat can cause irritation, hot spots, and issues that no groomer or pet owner wants to see happening to their client or pup. To get the best towel dry, I use my Artero Noodle Towel and then the Artero Microfiber Towel. These towels are amazing at absorbing moisture from the coat, reducing drying time, and therefore the physical demand of long drying times as well. Next, I grab one of my drying jackets to help preserve the natural look and condition of the jacket lying tight and flat to the body. I let Jude dry under heat-free fans for about 15 minutes, which gets his body to about 75 to 90% dry, and then move on to using my Artero Snake Heated Dryer and Artero Stella Super Soft Slicker. I love this dryer because it can be used both hands-on or hands-free. I do a light spritz of Artero Flash on the body before finishing it on a low speed to help keep the coat tight and flat to the body. Artero Flash is just a finishing conditioning spray that has a beautiful shine, it's lightweight, and it smells amazing. For the legs, I use Artero Mixed Conditioning Spray, and I use my Artero Flexible Double-Sided Slicker Brush to fluff the legs up by brushing them against the grain up toward the body. An important tip when brushing the legs on a dog, do not lift them higher than the dog's back or to the point where it causes the dog strain. This is both unsafe and uncomfortable for both you and the dog. Then for the fall, aim the air toward the nose and brush in the same direction, being cautious around the eye and the nose with the brush. Nobody wants to get scratched in those sensitive areas. Now for the final cut. I start by going back over my clipper work from before the bath to get rid of any hairs that might have popped up after the bath. After that, I grab my Artero 5 finish cut wide blade and get to work. Going with the grain, I start from the head and work my way to the tail, stopping just off the shoulder, skimming off the rib cage, and wrapping over the outer thigh to the rear and skimming off down the back legs. Leaving coat to blend in these transition areas helps to leave no clipper lines. Next up, setting my feet. I grab my Artero 1 curvy shears and comb the leg hair down towards the foot. I then slide my hand down the leg to help push the hair down, lifting the foot off the table and trimming anything that hangs past the pad of the foot, making this a long-lasting clean at home. Setting the foot back on the table, I start from the outside of the paw, holding my shears parallel to the table and turning them perpendicular as I trim around the front of the foot. This helps get those feet nice and tight to the toenail, creating a nice strong foot. I repeat the same process for all 4 feet. After my feet are set, I grab my Artero Alp 43 chunkers. Between the rear legs, I work to trim nice column legs up to the inner thigh, creating a straight line from the foot into the thigh. I also like to lift the foot to an extended position of natural motion to trim the hocks, leaving enough to keep them in a column shape but tight enough for cleanliness at home. Setting the foot down, I trim from the cowlick at the point of rump, tight and down, coming off the point of the hock. This helps keep the look of a nice low-set hock, per the breed standard, as in the case with most terriers who are used for groundwork. For the outside of the rear leg, I use the line I have already set from the inside of the leg and match that to the outside, creating parallel lines. For the stifle in front of the rear leg, I angle my shears in toward the empty space between the front 2 legs and make sure that I am getting a 3-dimensional cylinder shape that will not shake loose of any hair or have any harsh scissor lines once we're done. For the front legs, start on the outside of the leg, creating a line from the shoulder down to the foot. You already have the length of hair set on the foot, so this is as simple as connecting the dots. The inside of the leg I trim from the foot up into the body, creating a parallel line to the one that I already set on the outside of the leg. For the front of the leg, I again drop right from the shoulder straight down to the toe, and for the back of the leg, I focus on keeping the length and shape balance with the rear legs, again using the same trick that I used for the rear legs, angling my shears toward the empty space between the back legs. For the underline, I trim to follow the flow of the dog with a gradual incline up into the loin, and then blend the line from the body into the furnishings. On the head, I'm again using my onyx thinners to blend the lines from my clippers into the fall and top of the head, being sure to aim for a nice brick shape without any wedginess in the fall or beard. Don't be afraid to use your thinners to trim off hair in the fall. It's necessary so the muzzle is parallel in width to the planes of the head and cheeks. A good trick I use is to hold the hair from the point of the nose to the flue and all the hair in front out of the way of my shears and trim the rest of the sides to the correct parallel shape of the head. From there, double check your work and trim out anything you missed, and voila, you have the Sealyham Terrier strip and clip. Thanks again for watching Devon's Dog Days. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to stay tuned for the next video release. And if you're looking for some grooming tools or supplies, be sure to visit devonsdogdays.com or artero.com and use code DF246 for 10% off your order. Looking for more educational groomer content? Check out our link tree located in our bio and visit groomhouse.com. If you subscribe through our link, we're going to get a kickback on that, and we appreciate it to keep this channel going. Thanks so much for your support and for watching.